about this one. I'm excited about this one because, you know, you already know who you are to me. So. But welcome to Clues Vino, man, the show where we use wine as a vehicle for conversation. It's the only place you can legally drink and drive. I'm Clues Vino, and I have a special guest with me, man, the assistant for VCU basketball, JD Byers, man. What's up, bro?
What's going on, Stick? It's good to be here, man.
Yeah, man. We were trying to do this one for a while. It's been, you know, a lot of moving parts. And
my schedule.
Yeah,
mainly my schedule.
You know what I'm saying? But, you know, we finally got the time, man, and I'm glad I got you here. How you feeling, man?
I'm great. No, I'm excited to be here and excited to spend some time with you. This is unique to actually have maybe an hour where we actually get a chance to sit down and just rap.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you know, it's been a while since we got to do that. Like, you know, it's kind of like a formal type thing. But,
yes.
You know, yeah, it's been a while since we got to actually chat over that. This is the part where I usually let the guests, you know, tell the people about themselves. So the floor is yours, man.
Sure. No. Well, I guess I go the whole way back, which now I'm getting old, so it's a lot of years. I grew up in Maryland, Westminster, Maryland, northwest of Baltimore. Grew up on a farm, which most people do not know about me,
yeah.
But eventually I let the players know. So my parents were both really hardworking people. Dad worked multiple jobs, so did Mom. And basically, man, how my life got jump-started, my dad was a basketball coach. And you know, so I was in the gym from the time I was wrapped in a blanket or whatever. I guess they took me to the games in that first. I was born in October, so that first year. So, kind of grew up in the gym. Grew up playing a lot of sports, but basketball was kind of always it for me. Played basketball and golf in high school, and then went on and played the same in college. I went to Lebanon Valley in Pennsylvania, and then man, as soon as my career was over, it was started talking about playing overseas. I said, man, that ain't gonna be for me. I ain't trying to go overseas.
Yeah.
We did go overseas actually. You know, I graduated in 2005, so 9/11 had pushed back our overseas trip. So we actually went like after I graduated, and I had gone out to a camp in Vegas, and there was an agent. He was like, there's 3 or 4 countries he wanted me to kind of look at, and man, I went over there and I was like, man, it's not going to be for me.
Yeah.
I wanted to be close to home, which is kind of crazy now being in coaching, because coaching has taken me from New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Virginia, back to Pennsylvania, to Virginia again, to Houston, and now been back here for 5 years. So that's kind of been my coaching journey. I got in right after college, and this is year 18, man. It goes fast. You met me when, or I met you, I guess I should say, when I was, what was I, 20? Man, I was 25. When you walked on campus, needed to shave that beard before camp started. Coach Rhodes' old school rules. But man, you met me a long time ago.
Yeah, 18 years. That's a whole like adult now.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And so you going overseas, you didn't want to go just because, like, again, you want to be kind of close to home. Like, it would have been like a foreign thing.
Yeah. I didn't think I could do the foreign culture. I didn't think I could really do the that far away from home. Which is kind of funny because outside of coming home in the summers during college, I've never been home. I've never been back home. I've lived on my own ever since then. So, you know, and to the point where I was in Houston, I mean, I was only home maybe twice a year.
Right.
If I came home to recruit, maybe I could shoot up there and see them. So, you know, hindsight's always 20/20. I wish I could have had that experience, but I wouldn't be here. I wouldn't be sitting here with you. So things always kind of happen for a reason, or the way they're supposed to.
For sure. Yeah. So like you said, I you know, Jimmy Martelli recruited me.
Right.
So like, Jimmy did all like the legwork.
He did the legwork. Yeah, for sure.
He did the legwork.
He drove over the bridge.
Yeah, he did the bridge, the tunnel trip.
Yeah.
And all that, came to games. He said that he always has the funny story about that recruiting trip, but just, you know, he said, like, you know, driving down the road and there was no lights, and then all of a sudden there's just this big school out of nowhere or whatever. So he does the legwork, and then, you know, I want to say I'm in Food Lion. He gives me a call. He's like, hey, just want to let you know, I took another job.
Yeah.
But then he's like, oh, this guy named JD Byers, he'll be taking care of you, you know, da-da-da. From there, all right, cool, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, you know, just, you know, it's like, build a relationship with the dude.
Yeah.
You're like, okay, well, dang, now I got to do it over or whatever. So yeah, and that was the first interaction I had with you for real. For real. It was just like I came into camp, and you just wanted to say, "I got to cut that off."
Yeah. So, well, I had called you when I got the job. So Coach gave me this list, and I mean, there was 10 of y'all.
Yeah.
Plus, you know, however many was Shorty and Dixon and Reed and all the guys, or Carlson, all the guys coming back. So it was like 16 dudes. And for me, like even still now in coaching, if I haven't seen you play, that first conversation's hard. If I've seen you play, like I can kind of learn your personality.
Yeah.
I know a little bit about you. So I'm cold calling 16 dudes.
Yeah.
10 of them who freshmen who just found out that the guy that recruited them is gone, because you know in Macon it was Coach and Telly. That was it, or it was me and him. Like there was nobody else. So the cold call was awkward, and then you know I show up and it's our first day at camp, and Coach is like, you know, you can't work camp, and you had like 7 squigs of hair. Like it's not like you had anything.
Right, yeah.
Like I hand you this big razor, and I'm like, bro, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
I ain't have time to get to the store or nothing.
Yeah.
I was like, man, we gotta make this happen.
Yeah, and I was like, I just like, I don't shave, bro. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, I don't shave.
Clearly.
And I was like, this is like my thing. Like, and he's like, you know, bros.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. I was like, this is a great start.
Yeah, I guess we built some trust right off of that, of that first interaction, though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, like it wasn't. There were more things to come. You know, it's like this is cakewalk. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's a cakewalk. So, you know, normally we would drink wine.
Yes.
But today, yeah, I know you know.
Yeah, I'm trying to be respectful of the rules.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. So instead, we got energy drinks. I know you're a man that's always on the go, always busy. So, you know, I got one of those, man. So
Let's do it.
yeah,
What we got?
we have 2 choices. Now these are gluten-free, vegan, and are full of B vitamins. What is this called actually? It's called Alani New.
Okay.
Is what it sounds like.
All right.
There's mimosa flavor, and there's cosmic stardust. Which one you want?
Man, let me try the Stardust.
All right.
Let me see what we're talking about
Alright,
here.
let's
I don't know. You had this thing like in the freezer.
yeah, I'll do room temp. That's fine.
All right. Hopefully this thing don't like
It should.
go everywhere.
Nah, I got it recently. Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, cheers. Man.
All right, man. Let's cheers.
All right.
Not bad.
It's not bad. Oh, wow, that aftertaste kind of rough.
Yeah, the aftertaste is a little strong.
Ooh, that's
yeah,
rough.
that's the Stardust.
Yeah, that's the dust afterwards. All right, so yeah, let's start at the beginning. So you were the man in Lebanon Valley.
I was the man.
Yeah, like
For basically 4 years.
Yeah, you were the man.
Yes.
Or whatever. So did you know of Rhodes when you got there, or was that like a big thing where like
Man.
that's everybody saying his name?
Yeah. So here's the deal. I was playing in a summer league in Frederick, Maryland, going into my junior year. And first of all, there's no air conditioning in the gym in the summer up there. It's like 45 minutes from my house. And I'm pretty positive Coach, you know, he had just got the job like a couple years before, so a year before. So Coach is like 24 years old, 25 years old, the head coach at Randolph-Macon, which, if people know Randolph-Macon, not only the Success Division II, but at one point Division III, but at one point Division II, and ultra successful.
Yep.
So huge deal for him to get this job. So I'm pretty sure they was there like in jacket and tie.
Yeah.
And bro, I know me at that age. Like I got high socks on. I got swag. I weigh like 140 pounds. I'm talking shit. Like I know who I was. Like I a clear picture of who I was. So in that summer league though, I had some like monster nights, like where I made like 8, 9 threes. Like you know, was hooping. So we had a big fellow on our teams, like 6'8", Nick Hornwater, and so after like you know after that was over, I think he like maybe walked by me and said what's up or whatever.
Yeah.
I get like a questionnaire from him. I'm like, damn, I'm getting recruited. Like, here it starts.
Yeah.
Didn't know anything about Randolph-Macon at the time.
Yeah.
But Coach ended up coming to the gym later that year and came and watched Nick play.
Yeah.
And when he came in the gym, I'm like, man, I'm gonna try. I got Nick involved, and then after a while, I was like, yo, I'm gonna try to get mine.
Yeah.
So Nick ends up going there, hurts his back, ends up not really playing. So basically, Coach takes another guy instead of me, and it kind of gets back to me that Coach didn't like my flair. Honestly, I didn't think Coach and I, at that point, we'd have been oil and water. We would have been like, we would have been like going back and forth. So it probably, worked out how it's supposed to. So Coach McAllister recruits me. I get to Lebanon Valley, and there's Mike Rhodes' jersey in the rafters or whatever. Coach had coached him his senior year, the year after they won the national championship. Coach Mack came in, so I'm kind of playing in this dude's shadow.
Yeah.
Even though he had graduated 10 years earlier than me, like, I'm kind of playing in his shadow, the national championship, and honestly, like, I never thought I would go work for Coach or have anything to do with Coach. So that's kind of how that all happened. And the year that I came back to Lebanon Valley, my second year of coaching, I'm on the road in September. I'm at John Carroll in Maryland, and there's Coach when I walked in. And we talked. Jimmy and I were tight.
Yeah.
And, man, when Jimmy left, it was like, it just happened.
Yeah.
So I never envisioned that I'd ever have anything to do with Mike Rhodes after he passed on me.
So, just out of curiosity, because I know you. So when you saw that his jersey was there, were you like, "Oh, I'm about to try to destroy every record"?
I was trying. I mean, look, man. Again, like you get older, and one thing I think we don't usually have when we're young is self-awareness. Mm-hmm. And I think the sooner you're self-aware and you know who you are, like probably the more comfortable you become in your own skin.
I agree.
And all those things. So at the time, man, my ambitions were crazy.
Yeah.
And I was trying to break every one of his records. I've never told him this, by the way, but the only one I ever broke was like the 3-point shooting.
Yeah.
And then every time records come up, he's like, "Yeah, but I won more games." Like it's automatically.
Yeah, he always got the trump card.
He's got the there's nothing I can really say to him, but I was definitely trying.
Yeah, that's dope because I think I tell people all the time like don't be fooled by the way he looks.
Right.
I was like, JD is a bucket. Today he's a bucket. You know what I'm saying? Like that don't go away. So you come in, you graduate, and then like you say you want to go right into coaching.
Yep.
And was making the first job?
No. So that's what I was at FDU Madison. We had played them in my tournament my senior year. Mm-hmm. They had a graduate assistant position. I looked at there and Rutgers Newark.
Okay. Were
the two places that Coach McAllister drove me and I interviewed. Look, I was like typing letters up in the computer lab at Lebanon Valley, like sending them out, like calling offices.
Yeah.
Nobody's answering. Now I understand why nobody answered them. Cell phones weren't even that big then, but like nobody answers an office line in men's basketball. It just doesn't happen.
Yeah.
I'm sending all those out, and these are the only two places that I really saw. And Coach Mack drove me to them, interviewed both places. Rutgers North went a different direction, and Roger Kendall hired me there. So I was there. He ends up getting sick in August. And I had just got there. He has a virus in his heart, has to step down.
Oh, sheesh.
His assistant, Pete Marion, been there for 10 years, took over. So I worked for Pete for 1 year, and then Coach McAllister had his spot open up. Yeah. I moved, went back to Anvil, back to the Valley, lived in the dorms, was dorm director and assistant coach for a year, and then I came to Macon. So Macon was my third year and third stop.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I didn't stay very long anywhere.
Yeah. So then you get there. And again, there was this big class, coming in. And so, what was your approach? What is your approach normally, just as a coach, assistant coach period, of how to when new guys come in, how do you integrate yourself, and what's the evaluation process for you? Because by this time you've seen them.
Yeah.
Normally.
Yeah, normally you've seen them, and the way things work at the Division I level, like sometimes you've seen these guys play 2-3 years. Mm-hmm. You've had multiple interactions. You've gone to their school or their house. You've brought them on official visits. Like, it's more natural. Division III, you might have had them on campus for a day. Yeah. You might have seen them play a lot because the one thing about Division III, you could go whenever. Like,
Yeah.
I think I saw Calvin play like 15 times his senior year. Like,
Yeah.
AD, I saw him play, a million times. So that helps that you get the chance to see him play. But after the game, win or lose, it's a short conversation. So, for me, I just try to find a way to connect to them, like something in common, or just kind of be around and observe and get a chance to learn them. And with you guys, I wanted to make a good impression because there were so many young guys, so I knew you guys were going to need help.
Yeah.
I knew there was going to be some struggles, and I also knew the year before, because of how things ended, Coach was on high alert that we needed to be better. So I knew I had to find a way to get to you guys and kind of like make sure that whatever he was preaching, you guys understood, you understood why, so we could get off to a good start.
And that class, obviously, biased, right? But that class ended up being really good.
Yeah.
Obviously. And we got to talk about it now, but we obviously know what ended up happening.
Right.
So I had you for 3 years, and then you made the move after my junior year to go to
St. Francis, PA.
St. Francis.
Yeah.
So then, like, tell me your travels from there to get back to VCU.
Gotcha. So, St. Francis, Donnie Friday was the head coach. He was the student assistant when Coach won the national championship at Lebanon Valley.
But it's just like
the valley.
It's a tree.
It literally is.
Yeah.
And coaching profession is way smaller than what you think it is. The connections are crazy.
Yeah.
So, I got a unique opportunity to go from a Division III assistant with no Division I experience to being a Division I assistant. And I had opportunities to be an ops person multiple places.
Yeah.
I think I would have been fired at any ops job, within, a couple weeks, because I want to be on the court.
Right.
That was where I felt like my value was most well served. Like, I'm organized. I think I can do the job as an ops guy. But, I got lucky. And it was hard to leave you guys and didn't want to leave you guys. But that was the job that somebody was willing to hire me on the road. I had to take it.
Sure, yeah.
For a lot of different reasons, that year was not what I hoped it would have been. And looking back on it again, like I said, like, I could have done some things differently.
Right.
But it was a tough year. It was Coach Friday's third year. The expectations, I didn't understand, like, Division I. I'm not trying to say there's a difference, but when you have a 5-year contract versus a year-to-year contract, yes, year-to-year, there's a lot of pressure, but 5 years, when you get to year 3, there starts to be expectations. And they had kind of won a little bit the second year. They had started to do what you should do year 2. You got some guys in, you're starting to make a jump, you get another class in, you want to see that next progression. We didn't make that jump. And it was for a lot of different reasons. We had a lot of good players. I mean, guys that went and played overseas, guys that were talented. So I kind of felt that summer that I needed to make a move. And I even thought about getting out of coaching.
Okay.
Which, when you make a move out of coaching, as someone like me that doesn't have a Division I playing background, a AAU background, you might be done. Like they say, once you get out, it's really hard to get back in.
Yeah.
So VCU goes to the Final Four. Mike Jones in late June gets the job at Radford. Yeah. And I kind of reach out to Coach Rhodes and say, I'd be interested. Thought Coach was helping me a little bit, and he was. But at the time, I had 2 cell phones. I had my personal phone, and I had the St. Francis phone.
All right, Kevin Gates.
Never, ever do it again. I would never have 2 phones again.
Right.
It was just like, I didn't want to get rid of my personal line. They gave me this phone. They wanted you to use it to track your calls. Boom. So I'm texting Mike Jones on one line.
Yeah.
And then one day I text him another line, and he hits me back. Who is this? And I'm not getting this job. I'm not going to get this job.
Yo.
But it was crazy because then once I told him, hey, it's, JD. Oh, he said, JD, we got to get you down here. So, like, I tell Coach Friday we had an event. St. Francis is up the top of a mountain. Altoona's at the bottom of the mountain. We go down to Altoona. We have this event for this department.
Yeah.
After the event, I go to Coach. And I had interviewed for a Division III head job like a week before. I said, Coach, look, I got this opportunity. I could see his reaction right away, like, bad, like, this is not
Yeah.
good. You better get this job type of reaction. So I drive down, meet with Coach Jones, come back, you know, he don't say nothing to me for like 2 days. I go in the office, and then finally I get a call that I got the job. So
Yeah.
I get to, you know, again, things didn't, I wish I would have handled things better.
Right,
Things
sure.
didn't go the way I wanted to there.
Hindsight's 2020.
I get to Radford for 3 years, and then, you know, Coach gets Rice
Yep.
in Houston. I remember it to this day with my wife. She was, at the time, we were just kind of dating. We'd started dating at Radford. She was the volleyball coach. I get up. We had just lost to ODU in the CBI. We had gone out and beat Oregon State. We came back two or 3 days later. We lost to ODU. I come back. The day after the season, man, I'm done. I sleep till as long as I possibly can. So
Yeah.
it's like 10 or 11.
Yeah.
I get up and text Coach. I'm like, Coach, you know what's going on with Rice? He had told me, like, I'm involved with Rice. I'm like, Rice, Houston? Coach ain't going to Houston.
Right.
He's like, I'm taking the job. Are you in? I'm like sitting there, my eyes half closed. I'm like looking at my phone. I look at Marcy. I'm like, Coach is going to Rice. He wants me to go. Immediately I go, I'm in.
Yeah.
And that was it. So never been to Houston except for the Final Four.
Yeah.
So go out there for 3 years, and then Coach gets, Will Wade takes LSU, and Coach gets the job here, and 5 years later I'm still here.
Did you ever think, like, you would, like, because it's crazy, because, like, this has been, now there's, like, 3 different stops that y'all have been, like, a quote-unquote tag.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Did you ever, like, obviously, you know, with y'all initial
Yeah.
What's the importance, or what's the benefits of having that kind of long-term connection?
Yeah, I mean, look, the game is ever evolving, just like life. So there is value to learning from someone else and how they do things. But
Sure.
although we have some pillars of how we do things, like we've changed, we've evolved.
Yeah.
But the consistency of me knowing him, how he likes things to be done, what his expectations are, and I think also Coach knowing what kind of how I operate, what I provide, I think it just works. It works well, and I think that part of our success here at VCU is the fact that we've all now been together for 4 of the 5 years.
Mm-hmm.
Now going on to year 6, it'll be 5. Like, you know, the assistants have all been the same. Jimmy's been the ops,
Yep.
and he does a great job and keeps everybody organized. So that consistency, I think, is beneficial in a lot of ways.
Because the chemistry, man, I think you can't really put a price on chemistry. Because I feel like if, you know, when there's a lot of moving parts, then it's like, all right, now we have to rebuild this.
And things get missed, things get lost in translation, and it ends up affecting the players when it's all said
Correct.
and done.
Correct.
You know, and look, I'm at a point now in my life where Coach and I can challenge each other. Obviously, we have the respect for each other at the highest level.
Yeah.
But we can actually, like, the last 4 or 5 years, I've been able to disagree a little stronger,
Yeah.
and there's a little different reaction most times. You know, Coach.
Yeah.
There's going to be some
Oh, no.
times where...
If you had tried that,
Yeah,
you would rap like talk. Absolutely not.
Man, look, man, I'll be honest with you. I was confident as a player when in big environments like for Division III with great crowds and loved it. When I walked into practice with Mike Rhodes those first 2 years, I was nervous as hell. I mean, like, and you know it because, like, you knew I was open game just like y'all were. Like, he wasn't going to hold back on me in front of y'all. And he had told me early on, like, if I can't do that with you and you react a certain way, how are the players supposed to react? So y'all used to laugh about it, but I think it did help in some ways. But man, I was always like a little on edge those first couple years.
Yeah. That's always the running joke with like our group or whatever. It's like, who is the guy that's coaching VCU? Because I see what his name says, but it's like that's not the same guy that we've known.
Man, look, I tell you guys, I would tell you guys before practice would start, I already knew what his move was. But like, if I didn't tell you all that, if you literally watched him, how he walked through the doors at
That's
Crenshaw,
so important.
you would know exactly what practice was about.
Dog, you don't understand. One of the scariest things ever, and we still talk about it to this day, is when we used to do like runs.
Yeah.
And it's just the way he's able to pull in but also park the car, but open the door and close it at the same time. And like, he's just energized. Like, let's go. I'm like, dog, it is way too early for this.
Yeah,
Why
like,
are you so
if it was
excited?
6 o'clock, and we were about to do whatever, it was 5:59. He pulled in, the wheels were squealing. He parked it, opened the door, like you said, and I've never seen a guy that can go from whatever he's dealing with to ready to go in a heartbeat. He don't need no warm up, no like surveying the crowd. Like, he's ready to go.
No, it's just
and
on go.
Yeah,
On
consistent.
go.
Now that still hasn't really
That
changed as much, but yeah, he's changed.
Yeah. For sure.
You know, it's a little different than when y'all played.
Lucky them. Now tell me about the last few seasons, right? So obviously, I always like to ask. Cause I've talked to Buzz, I've talked to Merck or whatever, and the pandemic.
Yeah.
How's it playing during the pandemic? Now, before, I guess when the pandemic first hit, that was the year that y'all had to forfeit the game, right? Or is that a different year?
So no. The year that the pandemic hit, we were in Brooklyn.
Okay.
We were on the court warming up for the, that wasn't even the quarterfinal game. It was considered the second round game.
Yeah.
It was the 8-9 game. We'd won the league the year before. We were picked to win the league. We were in top 25 for a while, and injuries and a lot of other things. It was a tough year.
Yeah, sure.
And so, 12 o'clock game. Some of these tournaments start to get canceled, but they haven't canceled ours. We're in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
So we're in and when I knew it was serious is I went to Starbucks and there was no cream and there was no sugars out. And I'm like, and they're like, yeah, we can't because they didn't want you touching anything.
Yeah.
And I had no idea what the coronavirus was.
Right.
I literally was like completely ready for that game. It was my scout. And we warmed up the whole warm-up. And right before the national anthem, I looked over and I started. They were going like this, and it was done. So that was March, 12th, whatever that date was.
Mm-hmm.
Everything shuts down.
Yep.
We actually, because of VCU Health, did a really good job of putting something together, and coach and our doctors of being able to get the guys back that next June, I believe.
Yeah.
Most of the guys came back. We were doing 1-on-0s. There was one guy and a GA with gloves on, like maybe throwing them passes or just standing there. But it was one guy in the gym, and that year was an interesting year, man. You sat on pins and needles. We did full scouting reports, getting ready to play the game, and it's canceled. Like it's just like it was an awful year. And then we make the NCAA tournament, and we dodged COVID pretty much the whole year until we didn't. And crazy. And I had it, and I didn't know. And I tested that morning of the game, that Friday morning, and I got a knock on my door, and I was sitting there, and I'm like, and I opened the door, and this lady in full PPV, and one of our administrators, and I was just like, man. So that was a really, really tough ending.
Yeah.
Obviously, Bowens, we had a special player. That the fans never got a chance to really watch
really
that year. Yes, I mean he would have been in the stew. He would have been unreal. Like the fans would have gone crazy.
They show him love now. Man.
Still showing him a lot of love, and he's actually coming into town today.
Nice.
For the first time, coming back to work out and stuff. So that was a tough. That whole deal from losing that end of that season to then. Being forfeiting that game, it was just a rough time, man.
And like I always say, it's just weird because you're so used to certain things, and it really put a focus on how much. What's what I'm looking for? How much we take for granted, I guess, as far as being able to just practice together or practice without any limitations or crowds and all these different things. I'm sure it definitely made you appreciate the crowd.
Yeah, I mean, and this year was tough with the crowd coming back because there was mask policies, and you live in a state where you're divided a little bit into Democrats and Republicans, and what people feel is right, and obviously we all know we live in a place where they have very strong opinions, and so I think we had some fans that didn't want that mask policy.
Sure.
But if you don't put the mask policy in, then you have another side that doesn't want to come to the game. So it took us some time for our crowd to rev the engine this year. And by the end of the year, man, they were back. It's a really, really cool environment, as you've been to enough times now to know. And I hope that now that I know we're not past COVID. I know it's still here, but I think we're closer to being able to cope with it and live with it.
Yeah.
That I hope we're back to normal this year.
Because again, special environment. Anytime game day comes by, they always talk about how the crowd and the environment, how the stew can get.
Yeah.
And then this past season, to me, VCU has a very avid and very interested, intrigued fan base.
Opinionated.
Yes. I thought this year was a success considering the multiple injuries that started earlier in the year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, it was because, we talk or whatever, it just, as I was getting more and more, I was like, Tom, it could be ugly.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So, it had to be early June, and Ace was home working out, and, kind of got a text through our group chat or whatever saying that, he had stepped back and he felt something in his Achilles, but didn't think it was anything major. I mean, you've been through it, so you know there's varying degrees of how you do it, but you still can do it, and it's gone.
Yeah.
So I was playing golf the next day with one of our with our radio guy, and we were going to play golf, and I'm out in the middle of the round, and he had drove down from Baltimore, got his MRI, and they said, JD, he tore it. I'm in the middle of the round, like I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
So we knew we're without Ace, who is our only real point guard. We got a freshman coming in, and Jaden Nunn, who's we never saw play live because of the pandemic,
Correct.
But we knew he was really good. And then 7 days before the first, about 7 days before the first practice, Jaron McAllister goes down. And the day before practice starts, Jameer Watkins, who was going to start at the 3 for us, had a great freshman year, tore his knee. So things were not looking good. And, honestly, we finished 4-4 without Ace. He did an unreal job of rehabbing and getting back. But we let some on the table still that really ended up causing us to be in the position we were at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And I think in a lot of ways it was a very successful year. We were young. We played without Jameer, who's an all-conference caliber player, who a lot of NBA scouts are looking at. Ace, remarkable what he did. Like what him and Marcus Evans have done coming off Achilles surgeries. Beyond belief. It shows how good our medical team is, but it also shows how dedicated and these guys are to get back in a short amount of time. And you look at a KD that and bigger guys, as you know, it's a little different, a little harder, a little longer. But KD was 18 months or 16 months, whatever it was, till he finally played a game. And Ace's surgery is in early June, and he plays in December. It's kind of remarkable.
Yeah, absolutely. And then he came back ahead of me, and you could tell the difference too when he came back. Just being able to settle stuff down. And
first play, very early. I think he banged like a pull-up 3 early, one of the first possessions against Jacksonville State. But it was like a couple plays later, and things were a little ragged, and he just got the ball and went like this, and our whole crowd stood up and went crazy, like they know basketball. Like, we were like. Our offense was dismal without him, and like things really came along as he got going, and so he makes a huge difference. And when he was out there, I felt a lot better as a coach sitting over there.
Yeah, for sure. Now going into this season, what's the outlook? What's the feeling? Because again, it comes with expectations.
Yeah.
With the success of the program over the years. So what's the outlook for this year?
Yeah, I mean, it's what you want. I mean, you want your fans to want you to be good and to be into it, and to be critical when you're not, and that's just comes with the territory here. All the good of last year kind of went out the door with losing at St. Louis.
Right.
And would have won the league. Instead, we finished third, and we had beat Richmond in a really good game over there, and honestly, we had beat them really good here at home.
Yep.
But they were veterans, and the reason they all came back for 5th and 6th years was for that moment. And they honestly did not play good against Rhode Island for a long time in the day before, and they got it going at the end. And Jacob Gilliard plays great and beats us. And so coming back into this year, we know that Dayton and St. Louis are 1 and 2, and everybody, as they should, are really high on those guys. But I really like our roster. We don't have everybody here yet, but I really like this team, and I think we got a lot of good pieces. And man, this thing takes time.
Yep.
It takes time to build it the way you want, and we've had some really good teams, but I'm excited about this group.
Good, man. It's always fun to watch ECU because you're going to get maximum effort just based off of the coaching and just the players or whatever. And hopefully we get some shooters. We got some shooters, right?
That's the point, man. Like play the way we want to play, to have long, athletic guys that can really move and cover ground.
Yep.
Sometimes we haven't shot the ball the way we needed to shoot the ball.
Sure.
And, I know we'll probably get into it, but when we made the run with you guys to the Final Four at Macon, we weren't a great three-point shooting team.
At all.
But we started taking the right ones, and we were making the right ones to the point where we had games where we were hitting 10, 12 threes.
Yep.
And, instead of the game being close, we were winning by, 15 or 20. So I think with the way we can defend, if we can make some more threes, it's going to be a huge difference for us.
And it just opens up other things too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Especially with the way the game's played nowadays, where, before we would say like inside out.
Yeah.
Right? Where now it's, if you can hit threes, now you're extending the defense a little bit more.
Yeah.
Which opens up some, some driving opportunities, some driving dishes,
Yeah.
stuff like that.
And it's hard to get inside out threes when they can pack the lane and they're not as in a hurry to get out to, certain guys. So, shooting is the great equalizer. I think it's why you see in the NBA a lot of times you see these blowout games, but you also see teams that are getting blown out and make these huge runs because three-point shooting is really dictated the rate of how the game is played now.
What's your feel on that? Is that something that let's say it's just you and you can go back to your 18-year-old self and this is the way the game's being played when you were playing. Would you like that, or are you a more inside out?
Oh, for me, I would have loved it. Like the shots that Curry takes. I mean, honestly, Steph Curry's changed the game as much as anybody. And not always for the good because he's elite at what he does and he puts in all this time. So there's guys that really can't make these shots that are taking them. But I think it's good in some ways. But I also think that a lot of times you do get guys that settle and take quick shots when they don't necessarily need to. So I think it's a give and take. I mean, look, we want to play fast, so we can get a transition three and it's the right person. Like, Lou, let's let it rip. That might be the best shot you get that possession.
Sure.
But I do think there's a level of I just say settling that does happen. So that's part of teaching guys how to play and time and score and those things. Which that's why we do what we do.
Yeah, that's coaching.
That's coaching.
Speaking of coaching, man, congratulations on getting that top 50, impactful mid-major assistants.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah, man. How's that feel?
I mean, it's good to have someone recognize from the outside that you do good work. I think one thing that's been consistent with Coach and his staff is there's not a whole lot of individual recognition that we give within our program, and I think that's a good thing. Like, it's not my recruit, it's everyone's recruit,
Right.
It's Coach's recruit. And I think that does in a lot of staffs, because me and you are both recruiting kids, and I want my kid, you don't want your kid, we fight it out, and, let's get the guy that's best for our program, and it's going to help us. And, I think that's part of the reason why maybe, those kind of that recognition doesn't always happen, but I always think winning will bring on individual recognition, and that's the main thing. I just want us to keep winning.
And I feel like you've had a really successful career, especially with winning.
Yeah, I mean, both at Radford and St. Francis obviously was they were in year 3. Coach was in year 3, but when we went to Radford, we were one of the worst teams in Division I. Actually, the head coach at High Point, when we were beating him at halftime, you could hear him yelling in the hallway, "This is the worst Division I team in the country." And I always took personal offense when we played High Point because I wanted to beat him because of that. But he wasn't far off.
Right.
We were down scholarships for some reasons from the previous staff. We were depleted of talent, and by year 3 we won 20 games, and I left to go to Rice. Rice won 12 games the first year, which was 7 more they won the year before.
Yep.
Excited about the class coming in. We have 2 guys hurt their knees in the preseason. We win 12 again, and then year 3 we win 23.
Yep.
VCU, the expectations and everything are high, so
right.
in my mind we got some rungs to still climb here.
Right. Yeah.
But I do take great pride in being able to help programs grow and improve and win. And I think that, I've been able to help that in the different stops that I've been at.
I agree, man.
So,
all right, let's circle back to Macon for a second.
good memories.
Yeah, we had a lot of good memories there, man. For me, obviously, you were kind of the person I would go to because it's not always easy to go to Rose, especially not back then.
Yes.
Not for just because, whatever, because me and Rose have a great relationship.
Yes,
anyway.
yes.
It's just like, sometimes I just need to hear somebody else say something
Yep.
that I know how this is going to come out from me.
Yeah.
So, like I said, me and you have a lot of great moments, and I just remember you would just stay on me. One of my favorite memories, I use in quotes, is, you would push me a little bit harder than I think you push other people, and but annoyingly.
Yeah.
Like if let's say, playing pickup or whatever, like you're just on me.
Yeah.
Everyone else is doing other things, and I just hear it all the time, like da 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 da. And you know me, I'm getting pissed. I'm getting real angry. Like I'm talking back to you.
You are.
9 times out of 10 or whatever. But I just remember that was really important for me. And I think that kind of helped me, even as my freshman year when I didn't play as much.
Yeah.
Be able to end up getting a starting job my sophomore
Yeah.
year. So I guess just talk to me about how the coaching was when you were there, like as far as just like with the guys.
Yeah,
I feel like everybody has a different style of what kind of coaching they need.
I think there's certain, and I still think I do this to this day, and I still think I'm not fond of the word annoying, but I am relentless.
Yeah. And
the relentlessness can be a little annoying, especially when the player hasn't taken ownership of what they need to do yet.
Sure.
So it almost comes across as I'm the one
like you're pushing. That guy, really, is me.
Yeah, I'm pushing you to do what you should be doing. And I just felt like with you, and for other players, there's one in particular right now that I know I'm doing this with as well. You weren't going to realize your talent level and what kind of player you could be if you didn't have someone that was there on a daily basis. To the point where you had to make a decision, I'm either going to do this or I'm not. And I think that's what I saw with you. And I saw, like, your freshman year, I saw potential, but I also saw that, like, you could get passed by the next guy or, even guys who were in the program if you weren't pushed.
Right.
And that was really my approach with you. My problem as a coach is when I know something bothers you, a lot of times I'll do it more. Not to be trying to use the right language.
Right. Yeah.
Not to be an a-hole.
Right.
But to kind of like say, all right, you're not hearing me. I'm gonna say this until you do.
Right.
I'm probably a little less like that than I used to be,
right.
But with you, I didn't stop.
Right.
And it's sometimes frustrating with me because Javante Green, that plays with the Bulls, was just in the gym with me before I came over here, and I know I was like that with him.
Yeah.
And I've seen it work. and sometimes I kick myself when I stopped because I've also seen the other side of it.
Yeah.
So, with you, man, it was staying in your ear all the time, and sometimes kind of letting you know, like, hey, maybe such and such is going to pass you by, or you're going to be sitting over next to me again next year, and I knew you didn't want to do that.
Right. Yeah, and again, really important for me. I know. I played pickup with you before, and I just remember this one time we played pickup, and it was just like, and it was like 2-on-2.
Yeah, and it's 2-on-2. I remember.
But there's no big. It's me and you versus like two guards, and you're just like, no, you gotta just get through. I was like, dog, I don't guard guards.
Yeah.
But like you just like move on offense, move on defense. It's just like always
Yeah.
in my ear or whatever. But I think that was like one of the most important things for me, because it's like, well, if you put this faith in me, and you think I can do this, and it's like fine, then not me. I'm a guy that likes to do things out of spite.
Yep.
So like now I'm just doing it to spite you, but that helps me. Like
Yeah.
that, I know in my mind that helps me keep going.
Eventually, it's got to be from you, and that's the whole point that I think players have to get to the point. Like I can tell you, I can tell these guys, hey, 7:00 tonight we're working out. I'm waiting for you to say to me, hey, coach, what time are we going tonight?
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm waiting for.
Right.
It was a little harder at that level because I couldn't work with you in the off season.
Right.
And so my time was even more limited with you, and when I could grab it and grab that time I needed to, and then I also had the responsibility to get on the road and recruit. So if I had a chance, I wanted to make the most of it.
Max it out,
and
right.
I remember that day that we did that, and like I was really hard on you. Partly because I wanted to win.
Yeah, no, I didn't know the main reason.
But partly because I wanted to win, and I wasn't going to try to let us lose.
Yeah.
But also because, man, like, you didn't have anybody that you played with that was going to do that for you. And, I thought you needed it.
Yeah. And so, again, that helps. And then going into that, obviously Rose, leaves after my sophomore year, so then Davis comes in. Going into that season, was there any like realistic expectation that we could make a run like that?
My fear was always that we weren't going to turn the corner. That was my fear. I wasn't sure Eric was going to take the step that he ended up taking. Jordan had been so consistent and so good, but we needed him to like do more.
Yeah.
And I didn't know if his personality was going to allow that. Losing Shorty, we had done so much through him.
Yeah.
And if you remember the game that we lost to Wesley in your sophomore year,
I remember. Yeah.
The locker room talk afterwards, where it kind of, yeah, it was. But, and to be honest with you, like, it was Coach's really last talk with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
But it was his best talk ever.
Yeah.
Because he literally laid it out on the line to each one of you individually, like, basically, I see all this talent, but I don't see the next step.
Yeah.
And so going into the year, I was worried about that. I was worried, the coaching change, how that was all going to come together. Not that I didn't think Coach D could coach or get it done. I just didn't know how you guys would take to him because his personality was a 180
different, yeah.
from Coach. And so realistic expectations, I thought we should win the league, but I didn't know what that would lead to, because to be honest with you, we hadn't been to the tournament, so I didn't know who we were going to face and what it was going to look like.
Yeah. And I just remember we, again, shot out the gate early.
Yeah.
And I say this all the time, I think that year is probably the toughest schedule ever.
Coach had loaded it up before, and then Nathan kept it going.
Like, All-Americans everywhere,
Yeah.
top 10 teams.
Worcester,
top
Williams.
Teams. Yeah. And those two games were really big for us.
Yeah.
Because those were two really good tournaments. And beating that good Worcester team.
Yeah.
And then coming back and beating that Williams team who were down.
Oh, yeah, we're down like at least 15, weren't we?
Yeah. And then just to be able to come back. And that's when I was like, all right, this team's special. Like, we're doing something different.
Yeah, and I mean, shoot, don't forget the elephant in the room of losing David,
Yeah.
in the midst of all that, being, 7-8-0?
Yeah.
8-0,
right after that tournament.
and we're like close to number 1 in the country or whatever we were at the time, top 10, and I still remember the moment of watching him walk out of the locker room, and I looked over at Coach D, and he's like, you know, it was time. And
Because don't get it twisted. DC was nice.
David Carlson could hoop, and
Nice.
you know, was kind of that guy that gave you that, because that hurt us the year before when he became ineligible.
Right.
And DC was that guy that, you know, tough environments didn't bother him.
Right.
And he would give you all as the younger guys a little bit of level of like confidence, like come with me, like we're gonna get this done.
Yeah.
But you know, it was time for y'all to step up.
And then, you know, like I said, we get number one in the country, and we're nice, and then we got to enjoy it for like 2 weeks.
Eastern Mennonite.
And then, who, people don't understand, bro, like, 2 years prior, never any problems. Like, easy money. Eastern Mennonite was easy money. I don't know what it was about that day. That crowd was crazy.
George and left. I mean, I can't remember all their names now.
Phillips, Johnson,
the foreman,
and Henson.
Yeah, and Henson. Yeah.
That three, oh my gosh.
And
man.
I just remember you shot a free throw and missed, and they shot a layup at the other end.
Quickly.
And I was just like, yo, what just happened?
Oh.
Yeah, it was ugly. They brought in the other stands. It was packed. It was loud.
Oh, it's on YouTube.
Oh,
like
sure.
it's there. Like,
Yeah.
yo.
I tried to forget that game, by the way.
Bro, we couldn't because we had to come back and watch it. Oh, it was that film session was crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, we had that. You know, we come back, and that's when we hit that weird, like tough part of the schedule.
Yeah.
Because we ended up being, I think we Henry next. Because I remember I went off that game. I was dunking all the time.
Yeah.
But then we had the Guilford game, and that was the game where it was like snowed.
Mm-hmm.
And so it was like a limited people, whatever. And we held our own. It just
it was. I felt like we played about as well as we could for 30 minutes, and then they took the game from us.
Yeah.
You know, and then I think didn't we lost to WNL at home,
which we hadn't done in
Yeah.
I think how many years.
Yeah. We went 1 for 18 from 3.
Yep.
I remember because DJ Woodmore was there on his visit, and I said to DJ after the game, "You understand why you're right here? We need a guy that can shoot the ball from the outside and score." Because the one thing about you guys is you collectively did it, but we didn't have one dude that you could just sometimes give the ball to and go get a bucket.
Right.
And I thought DJ was that guy, which he goes to Wesleyan and ends up being that guy. Yeah. But his fear was that because all you guys were coming back, that he wasn't gonna get the minutes, and he would have been a perfect fit with y'all.
Yes.
But we were 1 for 18 from 3. I remember it, and that's the day that Coach Davis and I sat in the locker room and like we're only shooting inside out threes.
Yeah.
And we're gonna start throwing the ball in the post.
Yep.
And that was the change, and that was, you know, Coach talked about drawing a line in the sand, and he said it's time, and that's when things started clicking.
Yeah. Then we did end up losing senior night.
Yeah.
Which stumped to Hampton City.
Yeah.
But, you know, we met them in the first round of ODAX.
Yeah, it probably was the best thing that could have happened to us.
I think so. Yeah.
That was a tough night, blackout. Yeah. Everybody was hyped up, and they played well. But we, you know, gave up offensive rebounds. They played that little funky zone or whatever. We struggled with it, and then we beat them by 40 points in the quarterfinals. Because it was inevitable that you always ran into Sydney and Wesleyan, and you would run into them early in the ODAC tournaments. Like, we want to see them later. Not earlier.
Yeah, later.
But you guys were ready. You guys were ready for that. And then we got our rematch
against Mennonite.
Yeah,
which was, again, another tough game, though.
Tough game.
Really tough game.
Tough game. Played well, but tough game.
Yeah, tough game. And then, you know, we could have won that championship game. And we started out hot.
The backup guard hitting them threes, man, really hurt us.
For sure.
Yeah.
But, you know, we made the tournament, and then just from then on, it was like, I just remember them saying that Cabrini was going to smack us. That's all I remember.
I think I fed it. I think I might have fed that.
Was that you?
Yeah.
Was that you?
I mean, I knew enough people up that way,
yeah.
and I could get enough sources and, you know, hear some things, and then I just kind of made sure y'all knew.
Well, that didn't happen.
Yeah.
Smacked the crap out of them. Tell me more about that run, just like in your mind, like what you saw.
I just saw like a team that finally like grasp the whole. How do I say it? You were playing the game within the game finally. You know, you understood the scouting side of things, but you took things to a little bit different level where you understood runs and things like that, and it just was guys that were completely playing for one another, guys that were enjoying playing. I didn't think you guys were playing with a lot of pressure, which is what we did when we went into the Final Four game. We put pressure on ourselves until we finally let it go, and we made the run and kind of cut the game, you know, to a respectable level. But you know, I think you guys just kind of understood the game within the game at that point.
Yeah, that was a fun run though, man. Just every weekend, just being like, oh man, you know, fun. Just the last game type thing. Like this could be the last one. Da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, like you said, we got to the Final Four game. I feel like the magnitude of stuff just kind of got big, like all the media stuff and all that. Like, you know, I'm just trying to hoop, bro. You know what I mean?
We just weren't very focused that week. In practice, we weren't very focused. We went down there, we weren't very focused. Like, we had 2 or 3 bad days, and it carried into how the game started. Yeah.
The game started up.
Yeah.
They were hitting everything.
Yeah, it took us a while to get in the game.
We had cut it down to, like, I think it's like 5 or something.
Yeah, Pugh had the ball, and they called a charge.
Yep, and then I got a block, and they waited until I got a rebound, and they called a foul.
Yeah.
I remember that very vividly. But now, you know, whatever. It's, like I said, I'll never trade those memories for nothing.
No.
I always love those.
Special group of guys, and I mean, we all have the relationships to this day. Like just yesterday being Father's Day and getting texts from all you guys, knowing some of y'all are fathers at this point, which the list is kind of growing.
Yeah.
But it's cool, man.
Yeah, man. All right, let me get you out of here on this. Let's just go through some, you know, just run the mill stuff. You answer however it is, man. What's your favorite moment as a player?
Favorite moment as a player, outside of making the NCAA tournament, which was kind of weird because we thought we were out.
Yeah.
And we weren't really in basketball mindset when we found out we made it. Just keep it there for now, because we thought our careers were over. I hit a shot the last game of Lynch Gym on our campus. They then renovated into a classroom building. But I down 3 to Messiah, thought we were going to lose. Kid goes to the line, misses both. They outlet it to me. I took like one dribble, hit a half-court shot to send it to overtime. I think I had like 44. We ended up winning in overtime. But that was the last.
Just say that like it's just.
That was it was the last game at Lynch Gym, and that was pretty cool. I mean, but I think playing in the NCAA tournament was the coolest like memory, like as for us as a group and a team. Like that was, and you guys got a chance to experience it then, twice.
Yeah.
I think that was an awesome experience.
For sure. Favorite moment as a coach?
Favorite moment as a coach? Walking out on the court in South Carolina when we made the NCAA tournament our second year here, and just walking out and realizing you were part of March Madness. You know, I don't really have a hard time saying this. Like, I didn't have expectations getting into coaching. The only thing I said to myself is, I'm going to give myself like 10 years to see if I can actually make a career of this, actually make some money. Like, I didn't want to be 32 and making $30,000 or $15,000 and not being able to really support a family. And so having a chance to be in March Madness and knowing that you helped a team get there, that was the coolest moment.
Dope. Okay. This might be a little tough. Give me your all-time coaching team from point guard to center.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Now, first of all,
Woo!
this is just your personal list, bro. Ain't no disrespect to nobody, obviously, because you've had a lot of great players since then.
That is,
yeah, I know.
Man, that's gonna be tough.
Yeah.
Man, you've
had a lot of stops, man.
I hope these guys don't watch this.
It's always love, man.
They
know it's all love, bro.
The best big man I coached, no offense, is Justin Tillman.
Facts. He just did a free agent
with the Warriors.
Yeah.
He was first team All G League last year. I wish I had more than 1 year with Justin because we were Justin's third coach, even though Coach had recruited him, and it was hard for a lot of different reasons for Justin. But he's the best big man that I coached.
He made a lot of leaps from this beginning to
Yes.
the way he ended his career.
Yeah.
For sure. Yep.
Bones is the best player that I've coached. So I would probably put a healthy Marcus Evans and Bones in the backcourt, and
nice.
either guy could handle the ball, and I think we'd be in good shape. Oh man, gee, the other two positions gonna be hard, man. This is difficult. Man.
I know.
He played on your team. I'd take Danny Jones at the 4 any day.
Facts, yeah.
I'd take Danny at the 4. Who to put at the 3? That might be the hardest one. Woo! Trying to think. I mean, I coached some All-Americans, so that's you almost got to think about those guys. St. Francis, some good players. They were all young. I would probably put Wu as my 3.
For sure.
And then that would be my roster.
That'd be nice.
I don't know how many shots we would make, but we'd be tough and athletic. I wouldn't mind having a healthy stick by his senior year coming off my bench. That'd be a good thing.
These days, healthy stick ain't real right now.
Nah, senior hoop laying on the ground, I was kind of depressed.
Oh man, that's just how I do it so it don't fall down and mess up the rim.
Yeah, but I thought you'd be out there working on your game when I got here, shoot your fadeaway.
The fadeaway never goes away. You know that.
No doubt.
Okay, so here.
That was a hard question.
I know, bro. I always.
Because I was trying to think of how to do with Wu. I mean, Danny was, for our level, Danny's ability to score in the post was.
Oh, with these. Oh,
yeah.
No, like you said, when you said that we didn't have like a go-to person, the closest thing we
That
had
was
really
it.
was Danny.
But I
Like,
think then that's
like
what we did down the stretch. I think we decided, and to you, we decided we were going to throw you two guys the ball as much as we could, and force a double, force a extra help, throw it inside out, and then I think Eric got good off the ball screen as we went down the stretch, and that really helped.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure. Yeah, Wu was nice, man. I'm glad Wu was finally getting his just due.
Yeah, he's got a big year ahead of him. That's what I was just talking to him about. So you're talking about the annoying push, hey man, you 28 years old, almost 29. You got to take care of your body, your nightlife, and everything. You gotta be smart.
Yeah.
Because the next contract for him could be generational.
Yeah. For sure.
But I'm proud of him.
Oh yeah. I mean, just watching the way he plays, you can tell he's so important to what teams want to do.
Yeah.
He's good defensively, good at getting into lanes and stuff.
Yeah.
And he's become a more capable shooter too.
He's getting there if he really spends time on it, and that's what I hope. Vince has a chance here to get drafted. I think he's got some of those same traits in terms of defensively being able to guard multiple positions. He can shoot it better than Wu, so that helps him. But Wu's athleticism is still pretty crazy.
A little different.
Yeah, different.
A little different.
Different, man. And we had him at Radford. And, just got lucky.
Yeah. So here at Clueless Fino, man, we like to rate the drink that we have for the day to tell people if they should drink it or not, man.
Yeah.
So what do you think about this?
Alani?
Alani new Cosmic Stardust. What would you get that 1 out of 5 cans, man?
It's the aftertaste is not as bad as what I thought it was going to be.
It gets over after a couple of sips.
My energy level pretty high at the end of this, but I was also talking about Randy Mack hoops the whole time, man. So, what is it? 1 through 5?
Yeah, 1 through 5.
I give it a 4.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think it's good.
It's not bad. If you give me these, I wouldn't mind drinking.
No, I could
because
drink
it
one of
doesn't
these.
have a lot of the harmful stuff that other ones have.
Correct.
So I don't feel like I'm jittery. I just feel like I have the energy and that's it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, I would say a solid 4 as well, man.
110% of a couple things. So I
Yes,
guess.
let's I mean the vitamins. That's the good part.
Yeah.
It's not the other stuff at the top. The top stuff is what I'll be worried about.
Nah, that's on the zeros.
Yeah.
Ones. No, it's good.
Yeah, I'm not mad at it at all.
I give it a 4.
Yeah, it's solid.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming on, man. I appreciate you 1,000%. I always say, two things that I appreciate about you the most that you did for me. The first being my sophomore year. I got started out, but it was just there were days where like I was just at bad games, like 0 point stuff, like low minutes, just no impact on the game whatsoever. And I was about to quit, honestly. And I called you. I was like, listen, I don't know if I can do it or whatever. Like you talk to me. Like, listen, just come to work, come ready to work. Everything will fall into place or whatever. So you kind of talked me off that ledge. The more important one was my freshman year, and my great grandmother had passed away.
Yeah.
And I remember I was in my room, my dorm room, and my mom called me, and she said it. I just remember hanging up, punching the, I'm a puncher, you know that.
Yes.
I just punched the thing, and I just walked around, and then I forgot how I ended. I think I went to the coach. I went to the office.
Yeah, you came to the office.
And you just, I feel like you didn't have to do it. Like you could have just been like, hey, everything's gonna be okay, and then just left me alone. But you made sure to stay with me. And, walk around the campus, just talk or whatever.
And we got something to eat.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying. And from those two things alone, like, there's nothing you can do that will ever make me change how I feel about you or whatever. Because that really was a big thing for me.
Yeah. So,
all that to say, man, that I love you.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you,
too, man.
And yeah.
This was good, man. This was good. I'm glad we could find some time to make this happen.
Yeah, man. At the end of the episodes, I usually let the people, give out any words of advice, last words, closing remarks. So the floor is yours, man, to do that.
Whew. I mean, you kind of summed up right there of like why I coach. And it's getting harder to do that. The relationship part is a little bit harder now. But man, I think if anything I've learned over these 18 or 17 going on 18 years, like relationships is what we have in life. And I think what's harder now is to have real relationships that last a long time. So I just think that life is a lot better when you have those. So I appreciate y'all, giving me and trusting me, giving me the opportunity to work with you, but trusting me. And no, man, I just think if we can build relationships with people, that can go a long way to helping you in your life.
Yeah.
You guys help me more now than probably I ever helped you. Just watching you all with your families and stuff, and it's an incredible feeling, man. And it's always good to hear from y'all. So, got to do a night together.
Yeah.
Off the camera.
Yeah. The nights is rare and in between now for you.
Gotta find one.
Yeah, just one. It's the one for the year.
That's it. No, I know how it is. Gotta ask permission and everything.
It's like, and then like gotta prepare. Like, let me go ahead and take this ibuprofen beforehand.
No question. Yeah, next day's a little different.
Oh yeah, it's the bounce back ain't like it used to be. But make sure to follow the Clueless Vino page, man. Be sure to give us a 5-star review on streaming services. Be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. Be sure to catch a VCU game, man.
Yeah.
And we'll be back in the season.
November. Let's get y'all out there.
Yeah, man. Get this thing rocking. But most importantly, man, don't forget, drink up.
I got the juice, don't need no proof. 100 like the rum I drink that got me over you. And all your nonsense we all subject to. I found my lane and mind my business like I'm supposed to do. Let's have a toast for all the obstacles that gotta sit. I put my glass up in the air to stimulate the cheers. Not because we made it, but because we making it. I savor the moment, the bouquet forever evident. Yeah. In my realm, I watch the times go by. I got the world in my hands, but I can't tame the sky. Dare I try, I might lose my mind. But it'll be all good after I'm done sipping this wine. Gather around people, it's about that time.